Hi, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Finance and Ops Committee. It's Tuesday, June 17th, and it is now 4:34, and we're meeting at the Nashua High School North Boardroom. And I am here, and Mr. Flaffy.
I'm here.
Okay, the two of us make a quorum. And then we also have Mr. Gray and Dr. Andrade and Dr. Rodriguez. Mr. Smith is not here tonight, but we do have someone that can step in for him if we have any questions. All right.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with the CTE purchase related to the engineering class updates. I think I'm going to ask Dr. Rodriguez just to jump in real quick to give a high-level overview related to what we're trying to do with the CTE team. And then we actually have a couple CTE members here. If we have some additional questions that Greg and I can't answer, we can ask them kindly to come sit with us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So being part of the IT team and working with Ms. Talbot for the CT and Ms. Rossetti and Lysandra, we're gonna be working with them and as being part of these quotes. So the space is going to be transformed into really a nice innovation space. So the point is we're going to move the desks from like kind of the inner part of the classroom to the outer part of the classroom and have like 6 bamboo printers and a lot of furniture is going to be going to the room. And the bids that were solicited were from Creative Office, Hertz Furniture, and KI. KI Furnitures seemed to be the winning bid at $69,840.80. And there was also going to be a glass wall that is going to be put in. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the actual room. So it's kind of 2 rooms in one big space. But there's a wall that kind of divides it up. So working with Miss Rossetti and Miss Talbot, there's going to be a space that's going to be cut out, and there's going to be kind of an open entrance in there. And part of that, you need glass. You need to see through. So as part of that, there's going to be a glass wall, and that's also going to be provided by K1 Innovation Glass Wall for $15,587.71. And this is the IT portion of this there needs to be rewiring throughout the room because we get, as part of this project, the computers that are going to be used in this lab, in the engineering lab, are going to be all along the walls, and those need to be additional drops need to be put there, and they need to be lowered on the other side of the wall, so they're kind of not in plain view of everything else. So it's going to be more aesthetically pleasing and better functionality for all the students in the room. So the total to not exceed $95,936.51 out of the CTE tuition account 91.2258.041300.
Okay, I'm glad that that our CTE program is doing so well that we can do something like this for the kids. Do you have any questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember, is this at South, North, or both?
This is at South.
It's at South,
Yep.
okay. And maybe at the full meeting, assuming this moves forward, could we get the latest enrollment numbers when the full board considers this?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I was gonna kind of ask, like, are you anticipating having a lot more kids in the class or want to take the classes? Or how many classes there are that will use this from?
If you want to come up here and answer that, yeah, sure. And this is Ms. Terry Rossetti, or Teresa Rossetti.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I think just real quick to add some clarity, so looking at the 2258, the school CTE fund itself, which is where the purchases and stuff of this project will be coming from. Just remember, CTE as a whole, they had a substantial amount in their fund balance last year. At the start of this school year, we did go ahead and work with Helene and the team to say, really, what's your action plan related to CTE? So they have been, and they will continue to kind of spend throughout this year and next year. Hopefully in the near future, we'll come forward with a kind of a 3 to 5 year plan related to CTE programs as a whole.
Okay, that's great.
Hi, I'm Teresa. Engineering Pathways consists of 3 classes. It consists of Introduction to Engineering Design. It has Principles of Engineering in our capstone project, which is Engineering Design and Development. that I'm housed at South, but we service both North and South, so students will take the bus to come down. My enrollment this year has gone up quite a bit from last year, and this next coming year, the 24-25 year, I will have 3 full intro to engineering classes, 2 principles of engineering, 1 on each semester, and engineering design and development currently has about 21 enrolled. This past year, it had 10, and last year it only had 3. So our numbers have been increasing in the engineering discipline. We've done quite a few things to this past year to we participated into the New Hampshire Department of Transportation bridge design, and that kind of brought it to a fruition that we don't have enough workspace. So right now, the configuration of the room puts all the computers over like a 25%, but there's not enough room with the monitor and the 2 monitors for them to physically build, but there's no place to pull in other tables. But I'm gonna say 90% of the stuff that we do electronically has to have ports, and we do a lot of coding. Those codings have to be transmitted to the parts, and we need more build space. The innovation room is what we're calling it, is where we're putting in the glass wall. It currently has an opening on one side, and it has 3 windows that you can't really access from my room. I have to go out of my room, so there's not like a site view. So what we decided to do was open that up so it's an open space, put the glass wall up so that people can actually see the 3D printers working, and we're actually putting in a cabinet space where we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, actually 7 printers, 7 3D printers, which we have used for a variety of different things. We have supported the school store. We have supported an FRC team that went to Worlds. We have supported just my students building and designing dollhouse furniture for the Habitat for Humanity, which they raffled off. So there's a lot of good work that the students are doing there.
That's great, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank
Very
you.
much appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion to approve the upgrade to the CTE Engineering Lab, including contracts with KI, is it KI?
Yep.
With KI
Yeah.
and Telephone Network and Technologies in an amount not to exceed $95,936.51. Account CTE tuition account 91.2258.041300.
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Perfect. All right, the next items we'll hop over to, I'll turn it back to Dr. Rodriguez to go over the technology, just some of the purchases that we're gonna make. These are kind of a combination of some of fiscal year '25 funds that we're gonna go ahead and spend. And he'll discuss that further in just a minute, and then fiscal year '26.
Okay.
So we'll point
What do
that
you
out.
have first?
Desktops or laptops, either one is
Okay,
fine.
desktops or laptops? Okay, laptops. Yeah, yep. Yep, okay. Yep, so we'll start with desktops. So we still use desktops across the districts in the admin offices and in some spaces. Some of them do need to be replaced. So as part of fiscal year '25, we're going to be purchasing 23 desktops, HP desktops, at a unit price of $629 from IT Insiders. That was the most competitive bid for $14,467, coming out of account 992225.
The figures that I have are a little bit different. I have the total being an amount not to exceed 15,916.
Yeah, let me.
The IT Insider's price is 692.
That's what I see too on my side. Yeah. We'll go with this, the 15,916, if that's what we have.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
yeah.
I have a question that I know is probably gonna be
Sure.
pretty easy for you. I noticed that this funds will come from the computer software line, and I thought that like computer software was like I don't know. I thought like the actual computers were hardware. So I was wondering why it came from software and not hardware, or if I'm misunderstanding something.
No, that should be coming from hardware, comes from budget line.
Yeah, that's, the computer equipment is 71221.
712, okay, and this is 71228?
Yeah. And that was the same on the other ones too.
Yeah, so we can get you these updated. So from a clarity standpoint, and I'm not sure what you have in the book there, but computer equipment is where this should be coming
right.
from, which is 71221.
Okay.
221. Okay. So the rest will be, besides the
Thanks.
Follett software that's coming up, that will be 71228.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good
All right.
question.
That sounds good.
Are they flip-flopped on the memos? Is that
I
what
flipped,
happened?
I believe I flip-flopped,
go
they're
ahead and check
flip-flop
that,
on the
Pete.
memos, yeah.
I just, looking at, can I refer to the budget update? Yes. So according to this, so I'm reading it correctly, the software budget is has been spent. I want to make sure there's, yeah, it looks like the equipment budget is expired, or whatever the word is, but the software has money left over. So would you need to make a transfer?
It's exactly accurate. Yep. So we'll have to do one of two things. From a coding standpoint, they'll want to charge it to the correct coding, which is the computer equipment line. Remember with the 2-digit roll-ups related to 71, as long as the 71s in total are not over budget, they could still push it through. The right thing to do on the back end would do a budget transfer.
Okay. Wow, we're great, aren't we?
The benefits of having a former postal work, I mean, when it comes to codes, boy.
Yeah, those 5-digit numbers. Okay, so do you have any more questions? All right. Oh, I did have a question. I think you could answer this, Dr. Andre. I'm wondering, are any of these desktops going to go to our new location for the admissions, the Welcome Center?
We do have new desktops going over there anyway, so we do have some spares for that are going in those areas.
Okay, that's great.
yep.
All right. Okay, so let's see. The motion is to approve the purchase of 23 desktop computers for the 25-26 school year from IT Insiders for an amount not to exceed $15,916. Funds to come from account 91.1.992225.71221.
Second.
Thank you. And all's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay,
Can you just hold on 1 second?
okay.
So Regan, sorry, Neil, just for clarity, so we just passed, or you just went ahead and passed the motion to not to not exceed 15,916. We'll verify based off of the report. I think when the team updated this memo, it looks to me like, based on what Dr. Rodriguez is showing me, there might be a number that's transposed. So I think with us approving it not to exceed 15,916, as long as we keep it under that amount, we'll be okay.
Oh,
I
so
just wanted to go ahead and say that for clarity.
okay, so the lower number might be the accurate
Yeah,
one. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, from what I have right here, that looks like the number was switched.
Okay.
Yep, so,
All right.
yep. I was questioning whether that was off. Okay. And we're going to look at laptop purchases next. And this is we're going to be purchasing 90 laptops so this is going to be for the upcoming, for new teachers coming in and new staff. So we're going to be, we sought quotes for 5 vendors from IT Insiders, Bloom, CDW Government, Government Connection, and SCW. And the prices range from $729 to $903.29 per laptop. So as part of this, each staff will be coming in and greeted with a new laptop. And so because our laptops are currently 4 to 5 years old right now, so the aging out, this is part of our refresh cycle as well, to not only to create a wow moment for them, but it's also to start cycling out our older devices that experiencing some wear and tear at the time. So again, this is going to be awarded to IT insiders for the amount not exceeding $65,610.00, coming out of 71221 out of fiscal year 24-25 funds.
Okay. I'm just wondering if are the teacher laptops comparable to the Chromebooks, or are they like completely different quality, different? Yeah, so they last longer.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
The laptops that the teachers have, they last longer than the Chromebooks?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the wear and the laptops can withstand quite a bit more than the desktops can, than the Chromebooks can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are these all going to be for new teachers, or do you have some turnover with the teachers as well every year?
We do
Like
have
with their
turnover with
laptops?
teachers. Yeah, so we take some back and we put them into like a spare rotation for the ones that we do get back, and we fix up the ones that can be fixed and retire as we go. We don't want to keep devices that are limping along, so we just retire those as we go.
Okay, you have any questions?
Do the teacher laptops come with, say, Office?
Oh, yeah.
That
Office
price
365.
includes
Yep, yeah.
basic email, word processing, blah, blah,
Yeah,
Excel?
we purchase Microsoft licenses every year as well.
Won't be an added expense, that's it?
No, yep, that comes out of our software budget for FY26.
Okay, I'll make the motion. A motion to approve the purchase of 90 laptop computers from IT insiders using 24-25 funds at a cost not to exceed $65,610, and the funds to come from account 91.1.992225.71221.
Second.
Thank you. And all's in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Before we move to the next agenda item, so just want to clarify two things. So the desktops, if we actually look at the memo, so the desktops are coming out of fiscal year 26 budget. The laptops are coming out of fiscal year 25's budget. And based off of the detail that you have in front of you on the big legal sheet related to the forecast, we've already offset the computer equipment. So there might be just a smaller transfer that you see happen between the 7 ones.
Okay.
And again, like laptops, desktops, Chromebooks, right? Something as a district we normally purchase every single year. And just based off of the volume of purchasing for next year with some of the funds that are left over, whether it was from E-rate or certain equipment that came through, that's why we want to purchase it for in fiscal year 25 for next year's usage.
Okay, the amounts that you guys gave us, does that reflect the E-rate discounts, or is that something that we're gonna address at a different meeting? And
E-rate isn't associated with purchases that include desktops, Chromebooks, laptops. That has to do with internet and internet-related device like services like firewalls, Comcast, which what we use, and internal network connections like switches and access points that we get our wireless from. So that's related to the E-rate stuff.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yep.
All right, just for clarity, the next 3 topics that Dr. Rodriguez is gonna go through, smart panels, Chromebook software, we're talking about fiscal year 26 budget. We should have saw all of this during the budget presentation. So we're not gonna put anything through until July 1st when next year's budget opens. But from a timing standpoint, so that we're ready to go to purchase that first day in July, that's the reason they're in front of you tonight, and we'll go to the broader board meeting next week.
Okay, the one with the desktop computer, so that will come to the full board in July as well? Right, I mean, it will be put through in July, because it's that fiscal year 26, right?
Correct. The charges for the desktops will be next fiscal year.
Okay,
Sorry, not trying to cause any confusion, just want to make sure we're talking about the right fiscal years.
no, that's okay. The motion for the Follett's Destiny Resource Manager doesn't say fiscal year 25, 26. The other ones do. Should I add that in there when I do
That
it
one's
doesn't
kind of a
matter,
mix.
or?
That one's kind of a mix because
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily matters from your approval standpoint. That one's actually going to be a hybrid mix, that we're paying a portion in '25 and a portion in
We can,
'26.
if we can talk, we'll talk about that one, because that one's kind of a mix as well. So we're seeking to upgrade or add on to our Aspen Follett library right now. So we have Aspen right now, which is our student information system. We already have Destiny, which is our library resource software that manages our library inventory, but we're gonna be moving towards Destiny Asset Manager, which is gonna help us, one, audit all of our IT assets and assets across the district. It's gonna help us manage our inventory more streamlined because of the integration it has with Aspen. So we wanna build around something as opposed to have different types of modules. So, and this is just a good progression from where we are with Instant IQ. So Instant IQ has been our asset manager for the past couple of years. It did good enough, but it didn't, we need something that was a little bit better, and the price is pretty comparable from what we have. So for fiscal year '25, we're gonna be paying the implementation fee of $14,000. And then for fiscal year '26, that's gonna be the software we're gonna be paying for the year, totaling $23,989.95, coming out of 71228 software. Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. All right, do you want to go back to the touch panels?
If you want to vote on that one right there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's do the touch panels first.
Okay, we'll do touch panels first, okay. So we'll do interactive panels. So we're seeking to purchase 75 clear touch panels, and these are gonna go mostly into the core classrooms for the remaining classrooms in the district at the elementary level. So this was part of the budget presentation that we talked about at length, and so the price has fluctuated in a good way. So we were, at the time, we were quoted at $3,409 per panel. That has since gone down to $3,336.87 per panel, totaling $250,265.50. And what's good about this is we're also intermingling a little bit of Title IV money in this to offset some of the operating budget cost in here. So that's good in a way. So these come with a mobile stand and 3-year warranty and installation.
Does this mean all the elementary school classrooms will have the touch panels?
Correct, the core classrooms at this point, yeah. And when we have, there's been charitable gaming that has outfitted Charlotte. We've had Title I funding that has also outfitted classrooms as well. So the remaining core classrooms, and as we expand, this is going to be going into ELL rooms, special education rooms, in most rooms in general, just to get that personal touch for the students and the teachers in the rooms.
Okay, and the Title IV funding is, I can't remember what Title IV funding is, if you could just.
Yeah, so from a Title IV standpoint, just again, from a clarity, so we're working with the state right now, the state of New Hampshire, because we do have some Title IV funds still available. So what we would like to do tonight is to seek the approval to purchase the 75 Clear Touch interactive panels, again, with the cost not to exceed $250,265. It will probably be a mix of operating funds and some of Title IV funding. Again, we're still in the process of working with the state on exactly what Title IV funding can support. And then these 75 panels really should go ahead and help with all of the core classrooms at the elementary level. Kind of think of this as wave one, and then kind of a second wave would be our ELL classrooms, our special education, and our UA classrooms.
Okay.
I think Dr. Andrade was going to jump in and add something as well.
No, just with the Title IV funding, we just have to be careful that we're supplementing and not supplanting. So so Title IV is around, there's a small component around technology, well-rounded students. So like if we're using touch panels in an art classroom or a music classroom, those might be, could be approved as opposed to just a grade 2 classroom. So again, how is it supporting it's supplemental and not supplanting. So we're working with the state to make sure that we're not breaking any laws
Okay.
on how we can actually maximize our funding. The other thing, I could do it at the end too, but one of our big summer projects for the district is to come up and present a technology plan. And so that you'll see over the course of 3 years of what does a standard operating classroom look like, what's the technology in each classroom, and then our plan on what, as Mr. Gray said, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So then, and what's the revenue sources to come in? So from a board perspective, you'll see our technology plan, where we're moving, so then some of this a little clearer, and we could be referencing that technology plan.
Okay, all right, thanks. Do you have any questions?
The last sentence of the second paragraph, the word split, I'm just thinking ahead to next week. Do you think there's gonna be any problem with people saying, well, does that mean imply 50-50? Because you just said we can't guarantee that, so.
I think more realistically, it'll be closer to 25,000 from
Sure.
Title
I just was
IV.
thinking
Yeah,
the
yeah.
word split might
Yeah,
be
it's,
an
yeah.
issue.
Yeah, I think it might be in the realm of $20,000 to $25,000 from Title IV.
Okay, I mean,
I'm just semantics here, I'm just,
I
are you,
appreciate,
is everybody comfortable with the word split? Even though it's 75-20?
I am, and I think that
that's
if,
fine.
I think that if Dr. Andre comes with the total that he has in mind, I think that'd be enough for the rest of the board.
yeah, but to your point, I totally agree that if you say split, is it $113,000 coming from operating and $112,000 coming from Title IV? I think it's mostly going to be closer to $200,000 coming from operating and the smaller amount coming to Title IV.
Okay,
But if we have the approval by next week, then we'll put down the exact amount, but
I was just thinking that maybe divided is a better word, but I looked up the definition of both, I don't know.
wait,
To me, divided is I just don't want to be talking about the word split for 10 minutes next week.
Yeah.
and we appreciate that.
I can change it in here if you want.
I think if everybody is comfortable, I can see the point of potentially classifying the word from split to, or changing it from split to divide. You know, and again, the reason we put it forward is to Dr. Andre's point, we're not 100% positive what that dollar amount out of Title IV will be yet, because we're still working through the process with the state, so.
Well, Ms. Kinsella was way ahead of us, because the word split isn't used in the actual motion.
Perfect.
She's so good. Okay, so I'll make the motion. Do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay. Motion to approve the purchase of 75 clear touch panels for the 25-26 school year from Pro AV at a total cost not to exceed $250,265. Account 91.1.992225.
Second.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. It had 71228 is the account down here. That's correct, right?
For hardware, it's 71221, right?
All right, I'll change it. All right, so 7122, all right, I'll do the whole thing again. Motion to approve the purchase of 75 clear touch panels for the 25-26 school year from Pro AV at a total cost not to exceed $250,265, account 91.1.992225.71221, and Title IV funding. Oh, no, 221 is what we changed it to.
My bad.
That's okay. All right. Okay, so do you want a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the motion passes.
Okay. Do you want, which one do you want to do next, Chromebooks or software?
Yeah, you might as well do the Chromebooks. since
All
it
right.
goes in- goes
So
on.
Chromebooks on the same line. So this is the third or fourth year in a row we're doing having one-to-one Chromebooks, and this year we're purchasing 1,672 Chromebooks at $242 per. Again, from IT Insiders, we solicited 5 quotes from IT Insiders, Bloom, CDW, Government Connection, SCW. For the amount of $404,624, and that includes the Chromebooks and the Chromebook license that's purchased with it. So you can get a Chromebook, but you need a license to have it managed in our Google console.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, just to make sure, it's line 71221.
And, yep.
Okay,
2-2,
all
yeah.
right, I'm sorry. I just wanted
No,
to-
no, you're fine.
I wanted to ask you before I said the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? I don't either. This is like, this is like a thing that we do every year.
Every do every year, yeah.
Okay, make a motion to approve the purchase of 1,748 Chromebooks for the 25-26 school year through IT Insiders in an amount not to exceed $419,957 from account 91.1.992225.71221.
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right. Last but not least, make sure you guys can go next. We're going to be looking to purchase, again, going back to and I explained this briefly, for Fallout's Destiny Asset Manager. So this is going to be part of managing our assets again. So for fiscal year 25, I'm sorry, it's going to be an implementation fee of $14,000, which is rather standard of an implementation fee, which is like a percentage of, what we pay for software. And then for fiscal year 26, it's going to be in the amount of $23,989.95, coming out of software 228.
Okay, the only question I had on this was about the incident IQ.
Yep.
And you pretty much already answered that.
Yep.
The subscription rate for each year, is it probably going to go up, but not go up too much? or-
It's marginal. It's so small. Like how little I'm not sure. It's in the $24,000 range as Instant IQ. So it's in terms of price, it's apples to apples.
Okay, so we won't be paying for a subscription to Incident IQ and this one?
No, no. Instant IQ is going to we once we have this approved, then we start the cancellation process with them. So
Okay.
yep.
All right, you have any questions? Okay, all right, well, I'll make the motion. Motion to purchase Fallout's Destiny Resource Manager subscription for a year one cost of $23,989.95, plus the $14,000 implementation fee, for a total cost not to exceed $37,989.95 from account 91.1.992225.71228.
Second.
Thank you. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so that passes. And next, the plant ops.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi there.
All right, so Mr. Smith unfortunately is out sick, so Jason's here with us tonight, just to talk about the one actual plant operations item that's in front of you.
Okay.
So what we're looking for, I'll just kind of,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I didn't catch your last name. I wanted to write it.
It's Jason Gorett.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Thanks, Mr. Claffey. All right, go ahead.
sorry about that.
It's all right.
So we're looking for a recommendation to approve the purchase of a field lining robot from Turf Tank for $16,000, not to exceed $16,000 per year for a 3-year contract. This would be coming directly out of 91.1.22.2620, and then contract service line of 53,628. Jason, do you mind just giving us a high-level overview of what we're looking to purchase?
Yep. So this is a painting robot that comes with basically an iPad. And what we can do is go out to any field and it's all GPS coordinates. And once they come in and we show them which field will go where, I can go out there and set the two different points on a field, and by a couple presses of a button on the iPad, the painting robot will go out and paint a football field, a lacrosse field, any kind of field that we ask it to go paint. We're looking to do this because this robot is very accurate. Within inches of itself. To when we do it, we're riding a machine. If we hit a bump, you're gonna see the line move. This robot has a gyro in it, so the lines will always be crisp, 100%. When we paint a field, let's just take a football field, for example, just because we go at a different rate each time, and depending on what person's on it, whatnot, we can use anywhere from 10 to 13 gallons of paint to paint a football field. This robot will do it with 1.87 gallons of paint
Oh, wow.
almost every single time. Just what we're gonna save on paint alone is gonna be huge. I roughly buy around 7 pallets of paint every year, which is 45-gallon buckets per pallet. And then we split that in half, so we use water to dilute the paint. So a 5-gallon bucket turns into 10 gallons. So we're using a lot of paint, and we'll probably use a third amount of paint per year to save on the cost. And roughly right now, we're spending around $13,000 in paint.
Oh, wow.
And I send 2 gentlemen out every week. They paint for about 7 to 7.5 hours a day, both of them, to get all the fields done. We can have a person go out, stop mowing, set up the robot, say, go paint, robot will stop painting, person can keep on mowing.
Oh, my goodness, wow.
So between saving time, labor hours, I can have someone doing something else. We can program it to move from one field to another. It'll stop, just take out the paint cartridge, put a new one in, and then it'll continue going. So I'm thinking it's gonna save a lot of time. The other big thing is it takes me about a week and a this coming fall, it'll take me about a week and a half to 2 weeks just to mark out all the football fields, all the soccer fields. I don't have to go measuring out fields anymore. Once we have this program in, hit it, the robot will paint a soccer field within 20 minutes.
Wow.
That's gonna save so much time right then and there. I don't have to worry about 2 weeks of my time in July measuring everything out. I can just go, boom, go.
Yeah.
So I can do it right before the first day of soccer or football.
It sounds pretty amazing. Like, I was going to ask you about how many manpower hours you think it would save, and it sounds like a whole bunch.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we will probably still use the paint machines that we have right now until we figure out exactly how long it's gonna take for everything. But for the most part, we'll have this robot doing the majority of the painting, and we'll go from there.
I think my understanding too from Mr. Smith, and hopefully Jason would agree with it, I think one of the painting machines that they currently have is going to require a lot of service coming up in the next couple months. So based off of Mr. Smith's conversation that we had, this really is probably a better return for our investment to go ahead and spend the funds here versus putting it into something, kind of putting that Band-Aid effect over a piece of equipment that potentially isn't going to last, so.
Okay. I had a question about the way that it's written up, the agreement. It says the cost is $16,000 per year for up to 6 years, but the agreement is only written for 3 years. And of course, it also comes with, comes with paint, and then it also comes with replacement parts, maintenance, and training. So if we pay $16,000 a year for 3 years, do we own the robot, or do we continue to pay $16,000 or another amount for the next 3 years? Is it something that we need to contract with them to have them keep up with the robot and stuff?
Did you want to answer? Go ahead.
So my understanding is I've talked to these people a few times, it's $16,000 a year. They will come in and do the service on the machine every year. We are locked into that price for the next 6 years.
Okay,
It is a lease. To buy the machine outright is $62,000.
okay,
After a couple of years, if it's something that, for whatever reason, we do not have the money to support this, we can cancel right away with no penalties.
okay.
If this is something that we really like and want to purchase instead of lease every year, we can, I'm not exactly sure how much of it, but we can put a good amount of the money that we put into the lease into buying, that money will be credited towards buying the robot itself.
All right, that sounds good. I don't see anything wrong with doing it this way. You have any more questions?
2.
Okay,
So you haven't actually used them yet, if I heard you correctly.
We've demoed it twice so far.
Demoed it twice. Any other districts in the area using it that would,
There is actually a lot. So Nashua Park Rec just got one this year. They've been using it. Talking to one of their foremen, they usually send out like four or five guys to go paint their fields. They're down to 2. They've used at least half amount of paint. So they are really liking what they're doing. Bishop Garden has bought one. I believe it's Concord. There's a lot of schools that
and
are,
they speak favorably about it. And then the other question was layoffs.
what about them?
Is this, well, robots put people out of work, so is there any danger? I'd hate to,
I have too much work.
Okay,
I
thank
actually
you.
need more people,
Thank
so,
you.
no.
I asked him if it was going to be unfair labor practice.
all right. All right, I guess I'll make the motion then. Motion to approve the purchase of a field lining robot from Turf Tank for $16,000 a year for 3 years from account 91.1.22.2620.53628, contract services.
second.
Okay, just a question. Is this for this fiscal year or next fiscal year?
I knew you were going to ask that. I think we're in the process of looking at all of the expenditures related to plant operations. I think he's going to have some funds available to utilize fiscal year '25.
Okay.
But definitely '26. And just based off of timing, we might dip into fiscal year '25. So I can get that exact answer for you for Monday.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, passes. I hope you get it. Sounds cool.
Thank you.
Okay,
I was thinking about kids were little, and I helped coach baseball over by home. And I would help do the lines with lime.
I can see that.
Regan and Neil, just a heads up, so my understanding is the cost is going to increase if we don't put first year's payment on in fiscal year '25. So we will do it in fiscal year '25 by the end of June, so that the cost doesn't increase, okay? Ready to write this motion, or? Nope, you're good, thank you. All right. Mr. Alexander, sorry. All right, so I'm gonna actually, Clearway and Power Scholars, Dr. Andrade and I will do together. I'm gonna skip those 2 for now, just to have Dan Alexander, Mr. Alexander, talk through kind of the special education items that are in front of you, so we don't continue to have him sit here,
Okay,
if that's okay.
that's fine with us.
What's the first one?
All right, so the first one, if I'm looking online, I'm on page 34. I'm not sure if that's where you folks are following along. Let's go ahead and do ABC, physical therapy, and then Clark and Associates, if that's okay to do those 2 items first.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I had a question before we start.
Sure.
I was looking at last year's contracts, and they look different. And like, we had a contract with Carroll Center for the Blind, and then another one with Boothby Therapy. And I'm wondering if those will be coming forward later on, or,
Good.
Sorry. I think based off of my conversation with the team, we'll actually be bringing those forward in July. I think some of the special ed contracts came forward in June last year, and some came forward in July. we already felt like this agenda was fairly lengthy, so we tried to pick the ones that really needed to be in prior to July 1st.
Okay,
So I won't speak specifically to those contracts, but those are services that we will continue to need access to for students in Nashua.
all right, that sounds good.
So Clark Associates and ABC Physical Therapy, we've had a longstanding relationship with them. And this is our annual renewal of contract with them to provide our OT and PT services within the district.
Okay. That sounds good. And we need them, so. Do you have any questions? All right, then, and this is gonna go into contract services for next year?
Correct.
It said, the last numbers, and it says 53614. I'm sorry, I didn't notice this before.
I don't think it's contract services, I think it's pupil support services. Is that what you were gonna say to me?
So that's
Gary?
right, so that's where it will come from?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Okay, I'll make the motion. A motion to approve physical therapy contracts from ABC Physical Therapy in the amount of $241,000 using fiscal year 26 budgeted funds, account 91.1.022.160.53614.
Second.
Okay, and, all right, so I don't think we have any more questions. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Next one, I guess I'll just go forward with it. A motion to approve the occupational therapy contract from Clark Associates in the amount of $939,215 using fiscal year 26 budgeted funds, account 91.1.022.160.53614.
Second.
And I actually do have a question on this one just before we vote on it. Just, are these figures similar to last year's?
Yeah, I don't know the percentage of increase, but it's, I think, in alignment with kind of cost of living and just
Yeah.
where
I
we
know-
are in our economy.
Yeah, I noticed the physical therapy is a lot lower than the occupational therapy, but of course, that's because more kids need occupational therapy,
That's
right?
correct, yep.
Okay. All right, so I feel comfortable voting on it. So, all right, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Just a reminder too, a lot of this was kind of baked into the special education presentation during the budget season related to either contract services, pupil support services. So as you mentioned at the start, these are services we do every single year for our kiddos. I would agree with Mr. Alexander. A little bit of an increase, but nothing substantial based off of cost of living.
Okay. All right, so next one's White Birch, right?
So White Birch, I'll have Mr. Alexander just talk a little bit about it. So what we're trying to do with White Birch, just to level set, is this is going to be a new multi-year agreement with them. Year over year, we have seen a substantial decrease in our school psychologists as far as the postings are out there, the vacancies are, have been pretty standard over the last 3 to 5 years. It really truly, from a financial standpoint, makes the sense to go ahead and enter into a multi-year agreement to have the commitment for these school psychologists. So I'll let Mr. Alexander kind of provide some additional clarity related to, you know, the thought process of bringing this forward and what the vacancies have been.
And aside from the financial aspect, there's that continuity that, you know, we're working for them to provide us the same person for multi-year versus having to transition to new psychologists. It just helps our students who need support from our school psychologists to have the same person year to year. Went back to 21-22 school year, we had 5 vacancies. 1.4 of those vacancies were filled by contractors. 1.6 were left unfilled. 2 were filled by direct hire. 22-23, we had 6 vacancies. We had 1.2 filled by contract, 0.8 remained unfilled, and 4 we were able to direct hire. 23-24, we had 5 vacancies as well. We had 4 contract people come in. 0.5 was left unfilled, and we filled a 0.5 position. 24-25, we had 7.8 vacancies. We filled 4.6 of those with contractors. 1.2 remain unfilled. 2.0 were filled internally. As of when I wrote this up for Mr. Gray and Dr. Andre on 5/9, we had 7 vacancies. As of earlier today, I believe we were at 9 vacancies for school psych, which we have 18 positions in our district, so.
Oh my God, so half of them are unfilled, huh?
Correct. And we're working to fill those. We have 2 offers out to folks, but we don't have any more candidates at this time. So the contract, in my eyes, really makes sense to keep that continuity, to have the 3 positions. We've worked with White Birch on some of these individual contracts throughout the years. We met with them, Mr. Gray, myself, and Price. And really, it was really talking about if we have this contract, to work for them to provide us the same psychologist year to year over the span of the contract for that continuity piece.
Okay, can I ask you, how much do the contracted people get paid versus how much would we get paid if we hired ourselves?
That's not information we're privy to. They give us what our cost is to them. Their salary and benefits, they're a private company. I think they keep that close to themselves because there's a competitive market out there for contract services.
Okay, I just, I can see why we can't hire them, because I know that we must pay a lot less. Okay. Any questions?
Ms. Lampier, there's a document in the packet that breaks down the average school psychologist. Is Mr. Claffey, did you find it?
The White Birch.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't pay that much.
Oh, my goodness. We're not even half.
And honestly, some of our allied health, as we call them, BCBA, speech and language, contract agencies I really think that they stand at the back of graduation and hand out business cards and contracts. Contract agencies have more people coming out of college than we get coming into our application. That is par for a lot of districts. There's a district right nearby. They exclusively contract all of their school psychologists. They don't even work to do direct hire. So there have been some complete outsourcing by at least one district that I'm aware of.
And I think if you look at the document that was provided by White Birch, just to show, they gave us kind of a couple different scenarios, especially where this is the first year. They gave us 3 school psychologists for a 2-year contract. We could do 4 school psychologists for a 2-year contract. We could do 3 for a 3-year contract or 4 for a 3-year contract. I think internally the conversation and the dialogue was where this is something brand new. Year over year on average, we've gone ahead and had anywhere between 3 to 5 contractors in here. It really made sense from kind of that consistency plus the financial standpoint to go with 3 school psychologists over a 2-year contract. You probably saw on the documents that were provided, 3 school psychologists with a 3-year contract. The price, you actually would get a little bit of a discount if we went with a 3-year versus a 2-year. I think it's something we should try for these 2 years to make sure it's something we want to continue to do. It makes sense for the district versus entering into a 3-year contract. But we do have the option if we wanted to do 3 years.
And I would point out too, when we talk about contract services and getting people for kind of that continuity piece, we're bound by kind of where our dates are for the city and budget.
Yeah.
Towns have town meeting day in March and they have their budgets approved. So these people want, the contractors want jobs. So the agencies place them and, as they say, the early bird gets the worm. So, we're working, with White Birch for this continuity, knowing we'll have the same people versus we contracted this year. They moved on to another district because that district got to the contract before we did.
So the people that we had as guidance the people that we had last year are gone, but we're gonna get new people from White
Not
Birch?
always, not all of them. They are they're awaiting tonight's results, I
Oh,
guess you could say,
okay.
to know that the contract would be able to be signed, and holding some people for us, and then the 2 year, because those people know they would be working here 2 years through this contract, so they're kind of waiting on that.
So, so if we do this and we have 3 people, that means we're still short 6.
Correct.
And are we gonna try and fill some of those other spots through other contractors, or?
So, yes, unfortunately, we're going to continue to try through the hiring process. As of, like I said, today, I believe there's 1 or 2, at least 1 resignation. That's just getting posted. So we wouldn't even look at contracting for another 10 days and give the opportunity for that to, play its course through the advertisement process.
Okay, and you're presenting this, but it's not just kids that have IEPs that see them, right?
That's correct. I mean, we really like to think of our school psychologists in 2 forms. One is they are evaluators for our special education students, and that is part of their job. What makes Nashua unique is that they also get to do counseling with students, and they are a support to all students. We think of them as a tier 3 support, but they support students in many different ways from counseling. But most of the time, students do have access to them, especially if guidance is not available or there's a more significant issue that needs to be supported.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make the motion. A motion to approve the multi-year school psychology contract from White Birch, 25-26 school year, $475,875, and 26-27 school year, $486,000. Account 91.1.022.160.53614.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
All right, I'm ready. So let's look at the Clearway contract, please. So as folks know, Clearway Alternative High School, we do provide funding to them every year. I think Dr. Andrade and the team have been able to work with Clearway over the last couple years. In years past, I think we've had a contract with them that has been up to 60 spots. We haven't really been able to fill those. So we have gone ahead and redone our contract with Clearway for funding to be allocated to them for up to 45 spots. And the total cost of the contract for fiscal year 26 would be $600,000 even. That would be split between our special revenue, our contract service line in special education, and then also our out-of-district tuition line within the operating budget as well.
Okay, so I noticed that the line 53600 instructional services was only funded for 330,000 this year, and this would be 300,000. Is that will you have to change a lot the way it's, I just didn't know if there was anything different about it.
Yeah, so for fiscal year 25, which is the forecast paperwork that you have in front of you, for Clearway, we had a contract with them for fiscal year 25 for a total of 640. So 320,000 came out of the 53600 line, which was instructional services. And then the remaining came out of 55,694. So we split it between instructional services and tuition out of district.
Okay.
So next year in the budget, you'll actually see a $300,000 budget for both of those 2 buckets to total $600,000 for the contract.
Okay. All right, so let's see. Let me look at the motion. Yeah, do you have any questions? I know this is something that the school's been doing for a really long time.
How many students this, at the end of the year, how many were there at Clearway?
I just got the numbers yesterday. It's about 43.
Oh,
So
good,
this is
okay.
really, we actually analyzed the last 3 years. We were paying for 60 regular education spots, and routinely, there was only about 45 students there. So we worked with Clearway and kind of right-sized. So it'll be still 10 special education students and now 45 regular ed students. And to what Mr. Gray said, we reduced our overall contract. So 45 has been our sweet spot for the last couple of years.
And I noticed the cost per pupil at Clearway is about 13, if I did 13,000, whereas Nashua is about 18. Is it fair to say, well, we're getting a discount?
Yeah.
It seems like a reasonable cost per pupil compared to the, unless we should be counting them twice, which I understand we need this school.
Well, again, I think how much is a special education student? So I don't think it's a straight. We try to break it down by a per pupil, and it was kind of hard. So we came up with a good amount. But yeah, I think there it is a little less because they don't actually have all the offerings we do as well. So. But it's a good partnership, and I'm looking forward to our continued collaboration with them. They have a new director and a new COO that is looking to really reimagine their services over there.
Yeah, I've heard of Clearway, but that's one area that I've never seen it, never gone on a tour or anything like that. So that'd be cool if we could maybe do that this year.
Yeah, they're hoping to come in and do a presentation, so it's not technically a Nashua public school, but if we all remember Gail Casey, who used to be our 21st Century coordinator, who did a wonderful job. She is now the COO of the ALC for the last year. And Clearway just hired a new director for their program, who was a former North assistant principal. So,
Oh, that's great.
so they're looking forward to continued collaboration and great partnership with them. But they're hoping that we would take a tour as well.
Yeah, okay, that'd be good. All right, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the contract with the Adult Learning Center, Clearway High School for $600,000 with fiscal year '26 budgeted funds from accounts 91.1.021267.55694, $300,000 from there, and 91.1.991110.53600, and $300,000 from there.
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
Awesome. So the next one. YMCA. Bill's dancing for us. All right, so the next one is Power Scholars. So this is a program over the last couple of years that we have brought forward. This is our summer program to provide summer education services for up to 312 students that are currently attending Nashua School District through the Power Scholars program. We are looking to partner again this year with the YMCA, and we will be providing them funding for up to $185,256. The funding is going to be split between a couple different areas. It will be $35,000 coming out of our general operating budget, which is the 99-14-21-53628. We have $45,213 coming out of Title I funds that has already been approved for the summer. We have another $33,043 coming out of Title IV-B, which is our 21st Century grant. And lastly, we have about $72,000 coming out of Title IV grant related to this program. You'll see probably the contract that was included has more cost than $185,000. The $185,256 is what we as Nashua School District is responsible for. The additional charges or the additional cost will be provided from the YMCA directly and through their fundraising efforts.
How do you decide which kids get to go? I mean, I know we must have a lot more than 312 kids that could benefit from this. How is that decided?
Yeah, so first we target our Title I schools, but for the most part, it's an open application. We try to get as many kids as possible. I don't think we've said no to many kids over the years, quite honestly. So even though it sounds like it's only 300 students,
Yeah,
it's still a high number.
that's great. I mean, I can't believe that the YMCA has the space for that many kids. It sounds like it must be a great program.
It's a lot of the programming is in our schools.
Ah, yes, okay. That
They
makes sense.
They provide the instructors, some of the materials. I think last year, if you may have recall, this program was actually recognized nationally, and Miss Archer and the team from the YMCA went down to Washington, D.C. to receive a couple of awards. So this is a very successful program.
Wow, I did not remember that. That's really cool. All right, so, any questions, Neil? Okay, all right, so I'll make the motion to approve the contract with the YMCA of Greater Nashua for $185,256 with fiscal year '26 budgeted funds. $35,000 will come from account 91.1.991.421.53628. $45,213 will come from a Title I grant. $33,043 will come from a Title IV-B grant, and $72,000 will come from a Title IV-A grant.
Second.
Okay, and all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
All right, I'm gonna hop down. If you're following online or in the attachments, it should be page 55, 56, which is the transfers. We'll go ahead and kind of go through the transfers and then we'll talk about the forecast.
Okay.
All right, so from a transfer standpoint, I'll just go through them, and then what we normally do is anything $5,000 and over does need to be approved. I think you have the motion there. The first one in front of you is from the CTE team. They're basically moving, again, this is their end of year spend down. So they're moving the additional funds that they had in contract service, mileage, various accounts into educational supplies, furnitures and fixtures. They're looking to go ahead and purchase some furnitures and fixtures related to the CTE program. Again, this is money out of the operating budget. The next transfer you have in front of you is a transfer done in district office. This is to cover some overages related to special education, related to pupil support services and instructional services for $130,000. The next transfer is directly from the high school. We actually needed to go ahead and move some of their money out of kind of the principal's membership bucket that they didn't end up using over to educational supplies for just some last minute supplies that they were purchasing in the month of May. Again, remember, these are May transfers that are coming forward. The next one is, again, end of year spend down related to McCarthy Middle School. They're going ahead and moving their funds out of various accounts that they didn't need the money for into educational supplies that they're looking to purchase, or some furnitures and fixtures. Another one for McCarthy Middle School. I was just, for a second, I was making sure that didn't get doubled copied. Again, moving some additional line items. She must have ran out of lines, so she did a second budget transfer. Going ahead and moving some of the money out of some of the equipment repair line that she didn't need over to educational supplies. The next one in front of you is from Maine Dunstable Elementary School, moving some funds out of office supplies into furnitures and fixtures to go ahead and purchase some desks and file cabinets for the school. The next one you should have in front of you is New Searles. Again, year-end spend down. They're going ahead and moving some of their postage or conferences and seminars that they're not going to go to over into some of their instructional or educational supply accounts for final purchasing. Curriculum department, we went ahead and moved $2,000 out of their educational supply lines down into 53,607, which is their professional development lines. The next one that you have in front of you is from district office, again, moving some funds out of wages, various accounts, out of staffing services into staffing services, pupil support services, instruction services. So you can see kind of a theme here. We're starting to move funds that aren't going to be spent for certain categories over to additional line items where we need it. The next one that you have in front of you is actually to adjust a journal entry. For some reason, the budget entry prior to this one got duplicated in the system. So we basically had to do a budget entry to reverse that duplication. So this is to adjust the journal entry 257. The next one you have in front of you is to go ahead and move $15,000 out of one contract service line in district-wide over to special education to cover some additional contract services. Another spend down one from the South High School. Again, they're looking to purchase some additional postage, supplies, desks, chairs, and furniture for the classroom. The next one was, again, moving wages out of full-time wages, into contract services to go ahead and offset some of the costs that we're seeing in contract services related to special education. Again, those are kind of the big two themes we've talked about throughout this whole year is contract service, special education, and tuition out of district. The other one that you have in front of you is to cover, is from the athletics department. Again, just moving some funds that she didn't need for transportation or dues and memberships into miscellaneous equipment for purchase or contract service. So she's moving over some line items to cover some additional purchasing she's looking to do. And the last one you should have in front of you is another budget transfer to move funds out of wages and to move it into contract services to cover special education contract service invoices.
Okay.
Any questions? Good night. Any questions related
I have another one on the end.
to the
It's,
transfer? Oh, sorry, I missed
275.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Regan. So Fairgrounds Elementary, just the last one, she's moving some funds out of her educational supplies. Again, kind of their spend down that they're not looking to use to purchase cafeteria tables.
Okay. So the only question I had, I mean, we talked about how we had to move money out of wages and into contract services throughout the year. And we're not moving it because we don't want to pay people. We're moving it because we can't hire them. So this is what we have to do if we can't hire people in the district. And so the double entry I was a little confused about because 257 had budget information, and then 258 reversed it all. But it said it was a double entry, but we only got one entry. So was all this stuff moved for real?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the system glitch was talking with the city, but for some reason, when the journal entry, excuse me, the budget entry got entered, it almost hit the system twice for some reason, both under the 257 budget entry. So when you ran a report, you could see that it went ahead and entered the budget transfer twice. So we needed to do one budget transfer to basically pull out one of the duplicated entries. They should have only gone in once.
So since entry 258 reversed entry 257, but then we don't have a record of the actual money being moved, is that, I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, so my understanding from working with city is 257 showed in the system twice, which is odd because a journal entry should never show in the system twice.
So there were two 257s, so we have one of them still, which shows the actual movement, but we don't have the one that was incorrect.
Correct,
Okay,
yep.
all right. Okay, that makes sense.
So almost think of it as like 257A, I guess, and you could say 257B, but if you pulled it in the system, it shows 257.
Okay. All right. What do you think? Any questions? All right. All right. So let's see. I make a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 May transfer report.
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So passes.
All right. So the last thing on the list is the forecast. So just, I guess, a couple high-level items related to the forecast. So as we know, June 30th is the end of our fiscal year 25. We have been looking at a couple big buckets throughout this year, right? Contract services, out-of-district tuition, and transportation related to special education is the other area we've been looking at. If you look at the overall financial reports at the end of May in total, we've spent about 84% of our budget. And we have about $5 million that I'm estimating that we'll have remaining related to benefits that we didn't use in this fiscal year. If you move to the big legal sheet that I handed out this morning and you flip to, or excuse me, this afternoon, flip to the back page real quick and I'll kind of give you the high-level overview. So as of the month of June, again, this is for everything related to expenses in May and a forecast for June and the summer escrow. I'm showing right now about $89,275 is what's going to be remaining from our overall budget. I'm showing about $5 million, just over $5,045,428 in benefits money that we'd be giving back to the city of Nashua. The reason why, again, the budget seems to be extremely tight, and there's not a lot of funds remaining. $90,000 isn't a ton in a budget of about $190,000. Once we back out that benefits money, really the biggest items this year were contract services, special education contracts, out-of-district tuition, and our transportation. I would make a huge recommendation to the board and to the administration team as we move forward. There's going to be some kind of new procedures we put into place for next year to really be able to have monthly meetings with the special ed team to figure out, what is that forecast related to contract service, related to special education and out-of-district tuition. As we've talked throughout this year, unfortunately, those are items that sometimes are out of our control. From an IEP standpoint, there are certain regulations that we have to do to support students' needs. And unfortunately, some of that does come out of contract service or tuition out of district.
I was wondering, Mr. Gray, I know that we have some things come out of contract services that aren't related to special education. Is there any chance that next year we could kind of, when you come to the meeting, if we could have like a breakdown of like, I just think it'd be helpful for everyone to see like how much actually is being spent on special education that we're legally obligated to provide. I don't want people to think that we're, you know, spending unwisely, because we aren't.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's funny, like, the city had budgeted that $5 million for us to pay for health insurance. So it's almost like they're getting a big bargain because we're paying for all those contracted services. I mean, do they, do they expect that money? If we had hired the people, they wouldn't be getting that money back. Is that always how it's worked?
My understanding is yes, that's how it's always worked. I think this year and prior year, fiscal year '24, I think we've probably given back the most that we've seen as a district related to benefits, just because it's been challenging. As you heard earlier from the special education team, it's been really challenging to hire some of these specialized positions. The school psychologists, the OT, PT services, right, are all contract service. I think we need to sit down with the city. We already let them know last week that in next fiscal year, we really should be sitting down and having some conversations related to special education. Because if we as a district are going to see these costs continue to increase as substantial as they have in fiscal year '25, we're going to want to have a better plan in place. In the sense of either it's going to come out of our operating budget and our special revenue account. And if those two accounts at some point can't offset that, then we're going to have to really work with the city to figure out what makes the most sense. I can give you a quick breakdown. If you look at contract services on the big forecast sheet, about $3.8 million of that contract service total is related to special education contract services. So if you look all the way over to the right-hand side, the total budget is about $4.5 million. $3.8 million of that is special education contract service related.
Okay.
Okay.
And both the state and the federal government make laws that we have to protect, like provide the services, which of course we want to provide, but neither one of them are giving us adequate funds to do that.
That's correct. And we as a district, again, we were able to move wages money into some of those contract services to offset it. As I've said many times, it gets challenging and very tight from a budgetary standpoint. Because again, if, to your point, if we hired somebody and their salary was $75,000 and for round numbers, their benefits was $25,000, the net of that really should be $100,000. We could only move the wage money, not the benefits money. So I think we as a district need to do a deeper dive in special education and how we continue to support the cost, the rising cost as we move forward.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
I just want to commend Mr. Gray on her first year, I think, for a year and a half. And if my math is correct, the balance is 0.05%. So your grade is a 99.5, which is definitely an A+.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yes, we're very lucky to have
Motion to
you.
adjourn.
All right, I'll second that. And all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Gray. No, you can.